My name is Prab and welcome to my first ever YouTube video about becoming a physician assistant. I decided to create this channel just to help everybody out as much as I can because I know when I was preparing for my interviews for physician assistant school, I really used YouTube videos as a tool, and I just want to give back to the community that I think I learned a lot from. So that's the number one reason for this video. And today I'll just be talking about who I am, what my background is, and what made me decide to pursue PA, and basically my journey on this wonderful journey becoming a physician assistant. So first of all, I went to UC Irvine. In case you couldn't read it from my shirt, I'll just tell you, and that's from those who are out of the state, that's in Southern California near Newport Beach, and I was a public health major there. I didn't know that I wanted to be a physician assistant while I was at UC. I wish I did, because that would have made things a little bit easier, but I didn't. So at that time I was pursuing optometry, but after shadowing a lot of different optometrists and ophthalmologists, I realized that was not for me, and I'm so glad that I came to that conclusion and that decision at an earlier point in my college career. After I graduated from UC Irvine, I worked in a local radiology office, an outpatient imaging services location, and that was really great because I worked with a great radiologist who showed me a lot of different things that I would have never learned, such as how to read x-rays, just like the beginning, the basics of that, and working with different kind of healthcare roles such as like PAs, NPs, and how we all work together to provide the best care for the patient. That was great. However, the experience that I was getting there was not very much directly related with patients, and that's why I decided to pursue other opportunities. Thankfully, at this point in my life, I met a PA who worked in urgent care. One day I just randomly walked into this urgent care and I asked them, are there any opportunities for me to shadow a PA here? I'm a potential future PA student, and I would just like to know if there was any opportunities. And I think that was a great mistake because I ran into a PA that allowed me to shadow her, and great experience, because that's when I really learned that, hey, this is it. This is what I want to do. This is, it just revalidated my decision to pursue physician assistant studies. And she actually told me about a position that she worked in before she got accepted into PA school. She worked in ophthalmology in a different city that's close to me. And PA schools really like it if you're like an EMT, or like you're a certified member, like a CNA even, or other things like that. She said even though you're not specifically like that, you do get a great experience that will allow you to work with different kinds of patients and learn those things. That's why I'm like, okay, sure, like I would love to go into ophthalmology because I already have experience with optometry. Okay, they're completely different. So then I took her advice on that, and I went into an interview with the ophthalmologist that she told me about. That's where I currently work right now. I love it. I love the people that I've met there. I love the experience that I've gotten there. It's so different from my time when I worked in optometry while I was at UC Irvine. It's very different. Here you see a lot more ocular diseases and a lot of different things that are related to the systemic body as well, such as you see diabetic retinopathy, you see glaucoma, cataract, you see how if a person to have hypertension, how that affects the back of their eyes. They may be more likely to be having some sort of ocular artery occlusion or things like that. I could get into it, but this is not a video about ophthalmology, so I won't. And the experience that I've gotten there is really great because I've been able to do things such as like conduct EKGs for patients who are going to get cataract surgery, and just collect vitals, understand signs and symptoms, history and present illnesses. So it's been overall a really great experience. And the ophthalmologist that I worked with, he also was really great in helping me understand interviews, and when I was going through the interview cycle for physician assistants schools, he was really helpful. So that was my time in ophthalmology, where I'm still at until my school starts within the next few months. Speaking of which, I've interviewed at a couple of different schools, so I would say I've had an experience of 5 to 6 interviews, which compared to other folks may not be the most amount of interviews, but relatively for me, it's a really good amount, because not realizing that I wanted to be a PA while I was in college really kind of set me back. I think you can say that I'm a second-time applicant, and now I'm in PA school. why I chose to be a PA. So I have some notes here, and I think the number one reason on why I want to be a PA is because of the growth that I've seen in the field. That's one of the main reasons, is that it's really growing. It's for a relatively young career. By young, I mean we've been around the 60s, so about 50 years or so. I feel like we've made great strides, and the career overall as a community has come a long way, and I see a lot of different things that are happening for us, where I think we're respected more. Although surprisingly, I do feel like I have to explain what a PA is to a lot of my patients back at my ophthalmology clinic, maybe because they're a little bit older and they don't realize the new kind of healthcare providers that are becoming more and more available to everyone. So that may be a reason, that may be a part of it, but I do think we've come a long way. I think the second reason is that there's a lot of autonomy that's with the profession, and I know if you're doing your research, I'm sure you've seen this word like autonomous. I think it's great that you can work with someone as in a collaborative team effort, but then it's also great that you are on your own. You are seeing your own patients, you are diagnosing them, you are ordering their tests, you are interpreting those tests, you're assisting in surgery. I mean, the world is your oyster. You can do so much, and I think that's so exciting. That's just so exciting to me in a career. That's what I want for the rest of my life. There's a lot of room for you to move around. If you, let's say, do one specialty, but then 10 years down the road you want to try something else, you can. You don't have to go back to school to do residency, similar to how you would have to do it if you were going to medical school. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for growth and a lot of opportunities for you to flourish along with the career itself. So I think that's really great, and that's one of the reasons why I chose to pursue physician assistant studies. And then lastly, I think my time shadowing those two physician assistants really just validated it for me again. It just locked it in. They seemed so happy with their lives. They seemed really satisfied, and I think that's the number one key. A lot of other healthcare professionals that I shadowed were happy. They liked what they were doing, but they always kind of told me at the end, like, oh, if you can do something else, do it. Or they didn't seem very, very satisfied, and I have not had that experience at all with any PAs. And I'm not saying that that's like the only reason or that's true to everybody in this field, but I just feel that PAs are very, very satisfied, and they're very happy about their life and work balance, and that's something I definitely want in my future as well. So those are some of the main reasons why I did decide to pursue physician assistant studies, and I am so happy because it's been a long way for me to get to the point where I am today, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. But trust me, it's worth it when you get that phone call of acceptance. It was the happiest day of my life, and I'll be talking more about that in my next few videos, depending on how this one does. About how to prepare for interviews, because I know CASPA just opened in April, so there's a lot of you are going to be hearing back from schools about interviews, especially if you submit early, which is, again, number one tip that I have is apply as early as you can. As early as you can. I think I submitted like in May. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You found it somewhat helpful, somewhat motivational, somewhat interesting. And if you did, great. Like, comment, and subscribe, because I will be making more videos about physician assistant studies and just my journey on becoming a PAC. Thank you. Take care.